Namaste students. Hope you all stay good. I'm your EVA social teacher. My name is Saranya. Today we'll continue the lesson in political life, understanding diversity. Let us try to understand what we mean when we say that historical and geographical factors influence the diversity of a region. We can do this by reading about the life of two different parts of the country, Kerala and Ladakh. So, here we are going to see about two different regions, how they are, what they are having food, what they are wearing, what work they are doing. Like that, we are going to see about Ladakh and Kerala. Look at the map of India in an atlas and look at Kerala and Ladakh. So, take one atlas and see the region of Kerala and Ladakh, how it is. Can you list their Can you list three waves in which the different geographical location of these two regions would influence the following? We'll see what is the followings. The food people eat. So, in different regions, different types of foods people will have. The clothes they wear. In different regions, the climate will be different. So, we wear different types of clothes. The work they do. So, in different types of regions, we will do some related works to their regions. Ladakh. Ladakh is a desert in the mountain in the eastern part of Jammu and Kashmir. So, Ladakh is a desert place. See the picture how it is? Very little agriculture is possible. So it is a desert place, so very little amount of place where we can do agriculture. Then uh, it does not receive any rain and it is covered in snow for large part of the year. So most of the times it will be a snow place. So they will get water from melting snow only. So they are depending upon that. The trees also very less in that place. Next, people here keep sheep, and the sheep in these regions are special because they produce pashmina wool. So, sheep is very famous in that region. So, from sheep, they are getting wool. This wool is prized, and pashmina shawls cost a lot of money. So, this type of shawl is very costly. So they can earn money from that by doing trade works to Kashmir. Kashmir, it is very famous one. Okay, next, the people eat meat and milk products like cheese and butter. Each family owns some goats, cows, and does, that is yak cows. So, in each family, they will have one of these animals. So, from that, they will eat as meat, they will get milk, cheese, butter, like that. Being a desert, it did not mean that Ladakh did not attract its share of traders. Even it is a desert, it has very trading mark. So the traders will cross the way uh, to going to a Tibet. The it is travel through Ladakhs. These caravans carried textiles and spices, raw silk and carpets. So in these types of items they will carry out through Ladakh. So trading work also it will happen in that region. Buddhism reached Tibet via Ladakh. So Buddhism also went through that Ladakh to reach the Tibet. Ladakh is also called Little Tibet. Islam was introduced in this region more than 400 years ago, and there is a significant Muslims population here. Ladakh has very rich oral tradition of songs and poems. Local versions of the Tibetan national epic, the Kesar Saha, are performed and sung by the both Muslims and Buddhists. So most of them were in Ladakh are Muslims and Buddhism. They have some national epic song that is Kesar Saha. So they sung with the local version of the song. Next is Kerala. Kerala is a state in the southwest corner of India. It is surrounded by the sea on one side and hills on the other side. A number of spices like pepper, cloves, and cardamoms are grown on the hills. It is spices that made this regions an attractive place of traders. So Kerala is in south corner of India. It have a sea on one side and hills on others. So it is looking very beautiful. The places are very looking beautiful. And the number of spices like pepper, cloves and cardamoms are mostly grown in that hilly region sides. Jewish and Arab traders were the first to come here. The upstyle of Christ, said Thomas, is believed to have come here nearly 2000 years ago, and he credited with bringing Christianity to India. So, in this region, most of them will be a Christians. So, it came by 2000 years ago. Many Arab traders also came and settled down here. Ibn Battuta, who traveled here a little less than 700 years ago, who wrote a travelogue in which he described the lives of Muslims and says that they were a highly respected community. So, in this region, also Muslims are there. They are considered to be a very respected community, highly respected community. The Portuguese discovered the sea route to India from Europe when Vasco da Gama landed with his ship here. So, Vasco da Gama also came to this region. Because of all these various historical influence, people in Kerala practices different regions such as Judaism, Islam's, Christianity, Hinduism, and Buddhism. So all types of religions will there in Kerala. The fishing nets used here look exactly like the Chinese fishing nets. So it is same to same and are called chinawala. So even the utensils used for fishing is called chinachatti. So, and it is believed that the word China would have come from China. So, it is come from China. It is believed like that. The fertile land and climate are suited to growing rice, and majority of people here eat rice and vegetables. So, in this place, the famous food is rice, fish, and vegetables. While Kerala and Ladakh are quite different in terms of other geographical features, the history of both regions has seen similar cultural influence. Both regions were influenced by Chinese and Arab traders. So, in these two regions, the common thing is the Chinese and Arab traders. It was the geography of Kerala which allowed it for the cultivation of spices and the special graphical location of Ladakh and its wool that drew traders to this region. So in Kerala, they will trade spices. In Ladakh, they will trade wool. Thus, history and geography are often tied in the cultural life of a region. The influence of diverse culture is not merely a thing of the past. Our present lives are all about moving from place to place for work. Usually, we'll go for place to place work, right? That is mentioned here. And with each move, our cultural tradition and the way of life slowly becomes part of the new place we are in. So if we change our place, our cultural also change. Not totally, but slightly we are adopted to that place. Similarly, in our own neighborhoods, we live close to people from several communities. Our daily lives are about the ways in which we do things together and hear stories about each other's life, customs, and tradition. Our neighborhood also are different communities or different regions they will come from. So we are neighborhoods, so we will share everything. Not everything means our day-to-day lives or day-to-day problems, we will share our lifestyle also to them. So in this way the culture also will get mixed. Unity in diversity. India's diversity has always been recognized as a source of its strength. When the British ruled India, women and men from different cultural, region, religious, and regional backgrounds came together to oppose them. India's freedom movement had thousands of people of different backgrounds in it. So, in unity in diversity, against the British, so many women and men come from different cultural, different community, different regional backgrounds, but they are become very unity and stand opposed to that British. In the freedom movement, thousands of people came from different backgrounds. They worked together to decide joint action. They went to a jail together and they found different ways to oppose the British. So they are very strong that they are unity in them. Intersectly, the British through thought they could divide Indians because they were so different. So the British thought like that. So in India, we have different religions, different culture, different regions. So they thought easily we can divide them, but and then continue to rule them. So if we divide them, we will continue to rule them like that they expected. But the people showed how would they could be different and yet to be united in their battle against the British. But our people stand together by unity and battle against the British. This song was sung after the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Amritsar, in which a British general opened a fire on a large group of unarmed, peaceful people, killing many and wounding even more. So, after knowing all these things, the British started to fire on who have no weapons, who have a peaceful life going on. They are killing and they are disturbing them by wounding even more. Men and women, Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims, rich and poor, had gathered together to protest against British. So, whatever region we are, whatever men or women, we are rich or poor, that does not matter. We stand together to know to give the against to British. This song was composed and sung to honor the memory of those brave people. Songs and symbols that emerged during the freedom struggle serve as a constant reminder of our country's rich tradition of respect for diversity. Do you know the story of the Indian flag? The Indian flag have one story. We'll see what is that. It was used as a symbol of protest against the British by people everywhere. So we used that flag as protest flag to against the British. In his book of in his book The Discovery of India, Jawaharlal Nehru says that Indian unity is not something imposed from the outside, but rather it was something deeper and within its fold. The widest tolerance of belief and customs was practiced, and every variety acknowledged and even encouraged. So, the Nehru has told already the Indian unity is not somewhere, it is inside from us only. Just it shone out in that battle. It was Nehru who coined the phrase unity in diversity to describe the country. So, Nehru only gave the name as unity in diversity in the describe of our country. This is the story behind the Indian flag. Okay, children, that's all this lesson. Will continue in the next lesson. Thank you, students.